This film is about a secret my dad has kept from me for nearly 26 years.
A film from Brazil, Secret on a Hill.
I just thought it was very interesting, the fact that she said she was a little uneasy with the situation there in the favela, with the violence and everything, but she didn't seem too concerned about it because, you know, gangs and gun shooting and stuff like that happens so much that it becomes, as my friend said, a norm. She was more scared about talking to her dad about HIV, his disease. So for me, movies like that are important because the more you talk about it, right, eventually the hope is that it will become, like the violence in the slum, it become a norm. So it will be easy for people to have an open dialogue and support one another. And yeah, so like HIV, there's a whole bunch of other topics that are still taboo in our society, and I think we need to be more open about those things. Homosexuality and a whole bunch of other things that we need to be more open about, and because there shouldn't be a fear of talking about who we are.
First, I want to address, I was more mesmerized by the untold story of kids playing soccer with gangsters with AK-47s, and how the drug lords owned and ran the city and the town, and that was just taken for granted and so common. From the script itself, I wanted more ownership off of her to know why she decided all of a sudden to question her father and find out about his HIV status. It was known, but why did it take so long? And then going in a bit deeper, you know, about the culture down there, the stigma. We would love that. So I'd like to see part 2.
I just want to respond to the gentleman that asked a question about timing, why it took her so long. Well, I'm from Brazil, and being a Brazilian, I know that it's a very biased society. Although we see the samba and the parades and people with at the beach and all the stuff, but it's a very biased in many levels. And there's a lot of stigma about lots of stuff, especially, HIV. It's just like a big no, we don't talk about that stuff. So once she moved to the States, where there's more of an openness, to talk about those things, it's more okay to talk about it, then maybe she felt like more empowered to go back home and deal with that. But it's just not easy. Being there and living that culture and, talking about issues like that.
Minha mãe também contou, mas nunca tive a oportunidade de dialogar isso com ela.
HIV negativo, então HIV.
I see this movie a little bit different. First of all, this is about a child who lost one of her parents when she was small, and it was big traumation. And later, when she became more or less adult, suddenly she understood that between him and her there was a disease, shame maybe for a disease, maybe fear, or maybe simply avoiding the understanding that this is something that will bring that person down, and that's a reason to get away from people whom you like, and not only people, everything. You can simply turn away from many values you have. This most likely was the reason why they were separated. And as ironic as it is, when she knew about it, when she can talk about it, that disease brought them back, pain brought them back. But at the end of the movie, it was very positive because they end up together. For her, I think it was as important as it was for him. So somehow family was saved above the pain. And from other side, of course, someone was right behind that. She was avoiding all the outside words of her father. There was this gang, all this violence, everything. And inside her, she had so much pain of her that she couldn't share with the other world. And it's very important to understand. This is a very, I will say, natural story. If you have too much pain inside, you can't see what is going outside. So you must somehow heal your inside, then you can go outside. I think it's a powerful message.
She found a really good camera operator and to shoot this sequence, and this person did a kind of amazing job. You can tell it was just one person with their sound equipment. They were giving us some really amazing images with just that camera, like lots of even depth of field and like the rack focus and things like that. There was just from a filmmaking fan, it was like very impressive. This person with a camera going in and just really getting the intimacy of the city.